Jesse? Okay, I've got 5 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order today, Monday, June 18th, 2022. Roll call, we have Selectman Howdy Goodwin, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Clerk Katie Dandurand, and Town Manager Jesse Dunbar. Eric has called me and said that he would not be able to make it tonight.
Make a motion to excuse Eric Eaton from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Eric Eaton from tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, adoption of agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to change on the agenda? All right, approval of minutes. We have the minutes from June 21st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 21st, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from June 21st, 2022. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
I abstained, yeah.
All right, approval of warrants. That's what happens when you don't have a meeting for a while. Look at that. Warrant 131 for $17,425.62. 132 for $94,470.96. 133 for $9,570.81. 134 for $4,758.82. 135 for $32,566.88. And 136 for $20,666.57. And then from FY23, we have warrant 1, which is $10,944.94. Warrant 2 for $10,111.33. Warrant 3 for $11,149.03. And warrant 4 for $160,328.89.
I make a motion to approve warrants 131 through 136 for fiscal year 22 and warrants 1 through 4 in fiscal year 23.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 131 and through 136 for fiscal year 22 and warrants 1 through 4 for fiscal year 23. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, financial reports. That is you, Jesse.
Alright. So these reports are as of June 30th, 2022, which is 100% of the way through the fiscal year. A couple items of note for revenues. In June, we collected an additional $51,680 in property taxes. Total collections for the year came out at 98% of the budget. We also collected an additional $46,961 in motor vehicle excise tax, resulting in total collections of 110% of what was budgeted. Some other notable revenues for June include $2,263 in interest on liens, $23,355 in homestead reimbursement from the state, $19,970 payment from Acadia National Park, payment in lieu of taxes, $2,300 in tree growth, $1,147 in veterans reimbursements, $1,234 in registration agent fees, and approximately $803 in checking interest. We also received the second ARPA payment from the federal government, totaling $84,537. In the harbor fund, we received an additional $1,938 in boat excise tax, $2,005 in transient float rental, and $3,170 in warrant payments. Under expenses, the administration cost center ended the year at 93% of the budgeted amount, despite some larger than budgeted expenses. In June, we had additional expenses of $5120 for select board pay, $1,289 for office supplies, $1,349 in lien discharge fees, $25,595 in attorney's fees, and $1,709 for computer replacement. Under debt services, you'll see a payment of $62,258 for the fire truck loan. This includes the additional $7,500 you authorized applying to the loan with the check that we had received previously. In the Public Works Cost Center, we came in under budget for the fiscal year at 71%. In June, some notable expenses include 2,074 in culverts and signs, 540 ditching on Ames Point, $2,229 for Cape Road, including grading, calcium, and grass seed, $8,040 in engineering costs for Dix Point Road, and $1,225 for grading Dodge Point, and $554 in supplies. In the general ledger, we received an additional $9,452 in revenue sharing from the state in June, bringing total receipts for FY '22 to $134,036, or 155% of what was budgeted for the whole year. You'll also see some year-end adjustments that include a reduction of $3,911 to the Wharf Fund, an addition of $16,287 to the Harbor Fund, an addition of $1,095 to the Seal Cove Fund, a reduction of $1,500 to the Library Capital Reserve Fund, and a reduction of $12,158 to the Library Operating Fund. Those are the end of year adjustments the bookkeeper does for revenues and expenses for separate funds. Other than that, I don't have any concerns this time.
Okay, thank you, Jesse.
Thanks. I make a motion to accept the July 2021 through June 2022 financial reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the July 2021 through June 2022 financial reports. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, regular business. We have the FY '22 audit. And, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so enclosed in your packet is just the annual proposal from James Wadman, CPA, for the FY '22 audit. As you know, he's performed the audit for many years. And for your reference, last year's audit cost was $10,079.25. They don't give an estimated cost as it's hard to determine, but it's usually right around that amount. That's what it's budgeted for this year.
They do a great job.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
As always, they
Yeah.
do awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll make a motion to contract with James W. Wadman, CPA, to complete the town's annual audit for the year ending June 30th, 2022, and to authorize the chair to sign the proposal.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to contract with James W. Wadman, CPA, to complete the town's annual audit for the year ending in June 30th, 2022, and to authorize the chair to sign the proposal. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next, under regular business, we have the Community Resilience Plan. And we have Climate to Thrive gonna present this to us.
Well, I'm not really gonna present it since it's in your packet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I figure you don't want to take time for presentation when you have a meeting to get through. But I'm here to answer questions, and was asked to put this together by the Tremont Sustainability Committee. There's several members here tonight, and also speak to why they wanted me to put it together. But essentially, I was invited to come to some of their recent meetings and talk about a little bit about the work that both Bar Harbor and Mount Desert have been doing on plans that are being integrated or aligned with their comprehensive plans to basically plan for both mitigation and adaptation and increasing community resilience in the face of certain climate impacts. And so I was asked to put together this information on a little bit about what a plan might include, but each plan is specific to the town that it's meant to serve. And then a bit about why a plan is beneficial, as opposed to kind of just doing things as they come. And then, you know, a possible iteration of how a plan might be developed and take place, to give a little bit of information for people to understand.
Yep. Thank you.
So we're happy to answer any questions.
Funding support too?
Yes, and then that final piece about potential funding support that the town already has received a grant from the Community Resilience Partnership through the state, in collaboration with Mount Desert and Bar Harbor. And that was part of why I was at a recent sustainability committee meeting. Climate to Thrive wrote
Yes.
I would just like to comment, we've been very pleased with the work that Climate to Thrive has done for us and the advice they've given to us in terms of integrating, at least at the philosophical level, with the other towns, which is favored by the grant gifters. So it's been very helpful and very cost effective, I would say, and very critical for the town. So I appreciate the support we've got from the select board and from the, obviously from Jesse and Katie and everyone.
Elaine?
And from the standpoint of the town, it is only reasonable to consider doing this so that we can coordinate with all the other town committees to make sure that we're, like they get grants, like that the war committee gets grants and all these other places gets grants. If we can coordinate it, it would be much more cost effective for the town to have a plan going forward that we can take advantage of grants that are not only coming by way of a sustainability committee, for instance, but all the other grants that are available. Just seems like a good plan to be more financially responsible as a town, looking at future fixes, whether it be the road, that goes underwater, or anything else, the wharf.
Guys have any questions?
Looks good to me.
Before we get any further, I'm just gonna state, for full disclosure, I'm board chair of a Climate to Thrive. I don't get any compensation, but I'm extremely familiar with the organization.
I had one question.
Yes.
Is there an anticipated cost of doing the plan? I know we're talking about grant paying for it, but do we know roughly how much it would be?
So if you went with the proposed timeline that's in that
Yeah.
proposal, it would be, sorry, I tried to kind of overestimate how many hours that was gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
So my best projection is that it'd be somewhere between like $22,000 and $32,000, stretched over the 2-year time period. So that's between September 2022 and actually it's slightly over 2 years, November 2024.
Okay.
And the grants, the next grant cycle, the application is in September. It usually takes a couple of months, it's been our experience with these grants, to hear back, if not more, and then the grant can cover up to 18 months of activity.
Any more questions?
I'll make a motion to contract with Climate to Thrive for the community resilience plan work.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to contract with the Climate to Thrive for community resilience plan work. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next, we have the, oh yeah, I skipped something in my back there. The, fire truck refund is what we'll call it. I see Keith is here, but also Jesse, could you bring us up to speed on that before
Yep.
you? Okay.
So, at your last meeting, you made a motion to utilize the check that we did receive for paying for the loan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you requested that I reach out to the fire department regarding the first $7,500 credit that they received from
Mhm.
Greenwood, on their, other apparatus. As I said in my memo, it's been explained to me by the auditor and the attorney that while the truck company offered the credit to the department, in lieu of the late arrival of the truck, the town of Tremont was the purchaser of the truck, and therefore Greenwood should have offered financial compensation to the town of Tremont, not to the fire department. I did relay that information to Keith, and they had a board meeting, fire department had a board meeting, and Keith informed me that I believe they were going to issue us a check, was their decision, and they did deliver a check on Friday, I believe, here at the town office. The treasurer brought in a $7,500 check to the town of Tremont. And you said Chief Higgins is here, if you have any further questions or discussion on that?
I'm all set.
And that's I just wanna be sure, is that for the first 7,500 or the second 7,500?
The first.
The first,
second
okay.
is what we received previously.
So we've gotten both checks now.
Okay, yep, I just wanted to be sure I had it straight.
Yep.
Yep.
That's correct.
And are there any more to come? Those are the only credits from the fire truck
Yep,
guys?
that's correct.
You have anything, Keith?
So basically, the Greenwood and Warner were under no obligation to give us any funds. We threatened a couple times to withdraw from the contract, and, trying to think, I don't know why there's no notes, I've talked about it in meetings, but I've talked to Christopher and James about it several times on the phone and different things. And James basically told me that there's nothing in the contract that says they need to give us anything. So basically take whatever if they're offering something, then take it and run. And, so when we asked Christopher, previous town manager, he honestly felt that, the department and the town were basically two separate entities, so he really didn't, I don't know why he didn't share anything, we should have, but we were really, I just want to clear that we were really open about, this is what they're saying they'll do, and, forwarded the letters on to Jesse, and, at the time, James told us that the trucks belong to the town, so, yeah, so that's how we thought, I guess, to me, I think the auditor is kind of missing what was happening, but when we did receive that money, we opted to use those additional funds to upgrade the suspension and a few things to engine 6 and some work that we probably normally wouldn't have done. So the only thing it did is it kind of put us in a position where we spent more funds than we normally probably would have. But I was explaining to Jesse that at the end of the year, we'll be carrying over about $2,200. So it doesn't put us in the hole, but it did, the little misconfusion actually had us putting all new suspension and, work into some of the trucks that we probably would not have done at that time. So,
Don't you have money in your budget for truck maintenance though, regardless of the $7,500?
we do, we had, going into last year, we had 10.3, but we spent almost 19,000 on trucks. So, like I said, one of the concerns with engine 6 is when it's rust, basically, we're trying to do preventive maintenance. In order to fit in the station, they lowered all the springs and stuff underneath the truck instead of on top of it to gain an extra 11 or 12 inches. So that's putting extra strain on them. It's always been a concern of every one of those partners that, and so we decided to try to get another 10 or 12 years out of that truck. That was the most logical decision to do with it, but I don't, so I'm just so you guys know, something we just put it in our pocket and
Yep.
and hit it. But yeah, where we weren't completely transparent, I guess, on, wow, I thought Christopher and James were all well aware, and it just kind of came to us as a surprise that they never offered us any money. They just offered us services, which we use them, because you've been using them since 2012 to service 100% of the town's trucks. So that's where we're at.
Yep.
So,
And it's such a gray area with the fire department being its own separate entity, but then the fire trucks are owned by the town, and there's just, it's hard to follow what's what and who's who and everything.
yeah, so at the end of the day, it's still the same checkbook essentially,
Yep.
but, and the town got $15,000 that they could have tried COVID, they could have tried supply chains, it could have anything.
Yep.
So, so I think, I believe you've already cashed the check, so.
Yep, the only thing, I I just happened to think of when you said about the carryover only being, you know, a couple $1,000s. Didn't you budget in there for, I remember last year, was it a bookkeeper, or I'm trying to think of how it was titled. Didn't we have 20-some thousand in the budget for that?
So we've been doing a staffing program, yeah.
Okay.
That's a separate line item than our operations budget.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the members that are participating in that have done what is it, Quicken and whatever,
Mhm.
and they, provided us with all their information and I'm not sure how it works, I know we each had to fill out the forms on an email that came from Quicken, and there's 3 members that do station logins and maintenance upkeep.
And that's $20,000 worth of stuff? I mean, that's what we gave you, that's what you budgeted for.
Right, yeah, I think it was 15 or 14.
And have you found somebody to do the payroll part of all of that, or the?
So, we did, and everybody seems to volunteer to do it for the department, and we want to compensate them, but, the thing is a huge log time. The person that we had reached out to, and we used it, don't get back to us. Maybe we have too many questions, I don't know, but, we're trying to find, basically, we just need someone that can send out, WDs, 1099s, whatever they are, and those sort of things for us at the end of the year. So, Jim's wife has been doing it voluntarily. It's not really her responsibility to do. So, and like myself, I claim mine from my own Susan Snow, whatever business is
Mhm.
now. But some of them would prefer that anything over 600. We all know it, but we used to pay each person cash, and then they were responsible for it. But then it started getting more and more, and it got over this $600 threshold, and that's where we're obligated to send it in or withhold their earnings.
Is that something we can do here?
I know, that's one thing that we've talked about in the past, and I understand it was frowned upon at one point, because we'll just, but is it something that now would make more sense to have the town do here, or?
That's one thing that I'm absolutely ignorant about. I've never
No.
participated. I know, the funds, COVID funds had to be treated differently than regular payroll, because I'm not sure it was very detailed in the letter how they had to do it. And, I don't know if that puts more work on to Jan or who that would be, but, I think, the same, Jesse mentioned using the same company that the town uses. Yeah, so that's all right. It's been happening, but we just, I just try not to put the pressure on the different people to be
Yep.
responsible for doing it. It has to be nailed out by a certain day, and some people want to go to H&R Block the day that it's due, and it's just not available. But,
I had briefly mentioned to Keith that we could look at doing the payroll portion, here. As you know, on his annual request, there's a separate amount of that is payroll. If the town looked at just withholding that amount from the request and processing all the payroll, it'd be fairly minor, for the bookkeeper to add it. He just needs to submit the payroll sheets in time for whenever he needed the payroll processed. And
You usually do payroll like once a year, right?
she'd just add it to the
well,
rest of them.
with his QuickBook program, it's whenever, like, whoever submits their hours, and some weeks she doesn't only work 2 shifts, and there has additional days when she can do paperwork for us, and then there seems to be a 3-week period where she can't get any hours in because she's a mom too, so, I don't know, it's not like, it's.
Right, so
it's
Jan
not
wouldn't
like it-
be doing it every week with like all of these
So that's the
people
thing.
on her
Yeah,
plate is what I'm getting at.
It's sporadic, it seems to
Yeah.
be sporadic.
So it's not a lot more for Jan to take on if that was the case, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Sounds like it makes
Not anything
sense.
major.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to pay for somebody to do it. It's here.
You don't have to
It's kind of
hunt,
a
you don't have
no-brainer.
to hunt for someone to
Right,
do it.
right, I mean,
Charge-
So our QuickBook program does the payroll and the withholding, but the part we need is at the end of the year, you send out all the federal forms so that they can do their taxes.
Jan does that for us.
Right, so that would be the one,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe we should put it on a further, so we don't, we'll put it on the agenda for another meeting and go over it and talk to I don't know when you guys have meetings or whatever, but, if you mention it to whoever does your bookkeeping now, and see, maybe we can figure something out if it would work good and for you, and it's not a huge burden for Jan to do, then I don't see why it wouldn't make sense, 100%.
Yeah. I don't think Jim or his wife would complain at all.
Yeah.
We have all the checks and we print out the checks
Yeah.
and stuff, but it's well, most of you own businesses, you got that one employee that wants their thing the day it's due so they can run it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you have others that don't care to cash a check and wanna give it back to the department, so it's one extreme or the other.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, yeah, we'll just put that on for another meeting. Okay. We don't need a motion or anything on this?
No, you made a motion at your previous meeting that if we received it, to apply it to the
Yep,
truck loan.
yep, okay.
So both of those checks went to the principal of the truck fund.
Yeah, the second one, if
With-
it wasn't on that warrant, it'll be on your next one.
Okay.
All right, next we have the fire department surplus property. See you again, Keith.
So, housekeeping is very important for safety and Bureau of Labor Standards and whatnot, but it's also, Dudley's been trying to be really responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of the stations, and he, was very frustrated with the surplus stuff that we have, and in my mind, it's all stuff that we could use sometime, I don't know if it's boarding, what it is, but, really, some of it's just been sitting in the bays from engine 5, that had different size components, everything was 4.5 and 5 inch, and it seems like all good serviceable, useful stuff, but, it's not doing any use in the bay, and we don't wanna just put it in crates and put it in the storage unit, so, in our cabinet, but, that's just, we're supposed to, I guess the town still owns loose equipment, they own the apparatus and trucks, but in the town bylaws or something, it says that we're responsible for the loose equipment, and we can budget for it out of town money, so essentially the town did purchase these when the trucks came to us. Those were either included in the truck package or we bought them separately, so,
And I don't know anything about it, but the 4.5 and 5, like, they're not that size anymore. They're bigger or.
well, yeah, so, you think about our first truck, the Rio that's sitting over there, everything was 2.5 inch.
Yep.
This is the 5 inch pump, I had 500 gallon pump, but our new trucks are 1,500 gallon pumps, so that in order to move that noise, you need to have 6 inch intakes.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the things with that, some of the surplus we did, or some of our purchasing that we planned for this year, we upgraded the intakes on the 2012 trucks, because there's outside and, exposure, and they were getting rusted and hard to maneuver, so we replaced our intake valves, which some department somewhere would love to have these valves,
Yeah.
but us, they just have no use.
Yeah. 6 inch, that's like a piece of wet exhaust hose. Wow,
And
that's a big piece of hose to be, that's a
Yeah.
lot of freaking water.
so, yeah, it's just, we didn't wanna start offering it out at the county meeting and then
Yep.
make sure that they're not brass fittings that someone's gonna scrap out and take to a
Yeah.
yard and make a lot of money on. These are stainless steel or cast iron fittings, and so.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Nice.
I'll make a motion to authorize the fire department to donate various surplus items to other fire departments in Hancock County.
Second.
Just one question, if we did sell any of those items, because some of them do have value, they're like brand new fittings that were ordered wrong, or, we don't know where they came from, I guess you should probably
do the moved and seconded first, and then I'll do it. I'll just do, okay, it's been moved and seconded to authorize the fire department to donate various surplus items to other fire departments in Hancock County. And is there any discussion? How would we do that, Jesse?
If he sells any of them.
Cause it's not really, they're loose parts, I would think they would be under the fire departments.
Yeah. What did we do with the library? So that's that is, so,
How much money you talking, Keith?
I don't think, I'm sure we put some of those new storage fittings that we changed off the truck when
Sounds
we came as well, that people would offer us money for them, but I don't know, I would say it's not gonna be a huge amount of money, but, I'll go back to Dudley, he's saying, well, we shouldn't give them away, I'm like, I know, but then we get into that area of what do we do with money if we do collect money, and is it asking another volunteer department to give us money for?
Is it like a $500 range, $5,000 range, or?
Oh, I think it'd be mighty,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What did you guys say we did with the libraries surplus stuff? That came back here?
he came back here, but I was just gonna see what his MOU says. Did you say your MOU says something about loose fittings?
From way back, I don't know, way back, it was at the end of each year, we were supposed to disclose all of our loose equipment, including axes and fixers, but, so, I don't know how it works, but I guess it's easier to figure it out now than it is.
It's coming up,
You would think there would be like a not to exceed too, so if it was under, just say $2,500, then it wouldn't be, need to be,
Well, I can
Yeah.
tell you, we can itemize and keep track of what we do, and then can give you a ledger of some sort, and then you can make the decision then.
okay.
I mean, it may end up being a very little amount of money.
Yeah.
but- Well, he's looking that up. The one other component of it is we have parts that are only good for recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do all my recycling to a certain person, but I don't want to have a conflict of interest. So, I don't know if you have a problem with us just disposing of the items that are only good for recycling. Okay.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't.
I don't think. Jesse, do you want us just to have him make
Yeah, it
we'll just
doesn't
say,
say.
just make a list of whatever that you get. If you do happen to sell anything, just write it down, or have someone write it down, and then we'll figure it out later. Cause that way it doesn't put Jesse on the spot right now.
It doesn't say in the MOU, but
And
I'll check with the other.
as far as recycling, I think in the list I gave Jesse, we just bought 16 new air tank cylinders
Mhm.
at ungodly amount of money, but the ones that we currently have are only, we have to destroy them, we can't give
Yeah.
them away to somebody.
Yeah.
So the idea is you cut the top off,
Yep.
but the inside of the shell is aluminum. At that point, they're worth no value other than scrap metal.
Yep.
So, that, just so you're aware of what I'm.
Yep.
You're not talking much money, is it? Scrap value
No.
either, I'm assuming. A few aluminum tanks.
Aluminum now isn't worth much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just don't want to see
Yep.
them going away in the truck and you're asked where they went.
Yeah. All right, it's been moved and seconded. I think everybody's questions are answered. All those in favor? Okay, thank you, Keith. Next, we have the road work for Dix Point Road. We have our bid summary here. We received bids from Northeast Paving for $263,986 and Dugas Construction for $243,093.50.
One thing I just wanted to add, because I got the list after I typed this, just for the record, where on the summary where it says bids requested, the bid packet was additionally also sent to R.F. Jordan, Doug and Sons, Harold McQuinn, Hughes Brothers, Sargent Construction, and John Goodwin.
Okay.
But you still get only the two bids.
Yep.
And I will say that not only are they the low bidder, but I think Dugas did an awesome job on all of the stuff that we had
Yeah.
last year, and I think it came out great,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no complaints at
I
all.
think I haven't heard of any complaints at all. Normally we do, so.
I make a motion to award the contract for Dix Point Road to Dugas Construction in the amount of $243,093.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to award the contract for Dix Point Road work to Dugas Construction in the amount of $243,093.50. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for me before I take off?
I don't think so.
Have
Thank
a good evening.
Thanks for
You
coming.
too.
Thank you.
All right, next is broadband expansion. Discussion around the need for an expanded broadband in the community. Possible creation of a broadband committee. Guess you wanna
Yes.
take the lead on this, or?
Yep. So, about this time last year, this was on your agenda, and at the time we talked about it, and you, decided not to create a committee at that time, and had requested I be involved in Mount Desert Broadband Committee, discussions. So I've been involved in a lot of those with the chair, and I've attended several Zoom calls with Mission Broadband that Hancock County has contracted to facilitate, county funds, matching funds, for municipalities that are doing broadband, projects. And there's a lot of, funding available, federal and state, for broadband, and I've got a lot of resources from Mount Desert, and Mission Broadband to reach out to. However, they both, Mount Desert and Mission Broadband, said that one of the main requirements for grants is that the town has a broadband committee of its own, when they review grant proposals. So with that in mind, I have done a draft broadband committee, bylaws, if you wish to create a broadband committee, for that purpose. If there's any amendments, to the bylaws, you can let me know. The composition that I drafted is just 5 members of the general public who are Tremont residents. I did not include a designated select board member, such as many of our committees have, just to, unless one of you desperately wants to be on it. But I figured if you did, you could just volunteer. It's just a general, pretty straightforward bylaws taken, from the model of our sustainability committee bylaws. A lot of, Mount Desert actually said she doesn't believe they had bylaws, but we've always done it for our committees here, so.
Yeah, looks good to me. Seems to be getting more and more important all the time.
Yep.
And there are a ton of funds. Every time I read the paper, I think there's some new broadband money available.
Yeah, I know. And if we have to create a committee to receive,
Get money.
yeah, to give, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
And
let's
I
do
did,
it.
one of the Mission Broadband meetings I had, they pulled up the map, that shows the bad areas,
Mhm.
in town. And I was surprised there was a lot more in Bass Harbor that were bad than, I figured most would be at Seal Cove.
Yeah.
And there are, but there's a lot, Bass Harbor Woods and McKinley Lane are both on the poor connection.
What used to be from Brian Gordius's house, from there for, you know, anything beyond that, including Bass Harbor Wood Tree before it, was all off, cause I know I couldn't get.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's happening, even if you get something that's got supposedly pretty good broadband, it seems to bog down
Yeah.
quite often.
Yeah. Yep.
You may be paying for a certain number, but it doesn't seem to be there 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any issue with it.
Yeah. I make a motion to establish the broadband committee and adopt and sign the broadband committee bylaws.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to establish the broadband committee and to adopt and sign the broadband committee bylaws. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Next, we have the Tremont 175th committee.
I know you love committees.
Yeah, we just, yeah, I was gonna say, we just need another committee.
Yeah, we should get more committees.
So, this one, as mentioned previously, June 3rd, 2023 will mark the 175th anniversary since Tremont was incorporated as a town. I've reached out to all the municipalities on the manager's listserv to have them send over ideas that a committee could consider for some sort of celebration. It's highly recommended to create a committee to handle the planning, celebration, events, and the such over the next 12 months. So again, I've just done the same draft as I did with the previous bylaws. The one change to this one is under the committee composition. I'm recommending at least one member of the Tremont Historical Society, and in a meeting I had with Meryl Dixon from the Historical Society, she had recommended that we try and get a member of the Tremont school staff, where the fourth grade does a history, Tremont history lesson, that they might like to get involved in the planning of it. So that was recommendation she made, so that's what I've got in there for right now. One member of historical, one from Tremont School, and 3 members of the general public for Tremont West.
It'd be good to see something that the kids could do more. I know it's around the time of like the boat races, that used to be a lot bigger. There was food, there was all kinds of stuff. What did Alan Gordius used to have his cars down there, and it'd be nice to see something like that again, see a bunch of different things.
Saying in my meeting with Mariel that, you know, I'd like to discuss with the committee, you know, obviously having some event marking 175th, but if they could also work with the other existing annual events to you know, add a bit to it since
Yep.
we're celebrating 175th.
Speaking of that, it's same topic, but a little bit. I had someone mention to me the other day about the macro fishing derby for kids down the harbor. We had that for a few years and then didn't, and we should look and see when that was. I think it was in August, if I remember right, and it's too bad
Yep.
we couldn't get maybe, you know, a half a dozen volunteers together just to pull something off, even if it's just,
Okay.
you know, it's something. Have some barbecue and have the kids go fish and have fun.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I would.
Am I allowed
Sorry.
to speak?
Sorry.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, yep.
So, could we have a celebration that had different events all summer?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that'd be
definitely.
something.
I think that's what I think that's what Jesse's trying to
Yeah.
promote, is doing this, doing like boat races, do a few different things like that and make it a stretched out.
Right, my thought would be that the committee could do, you know, an event on the 3rd, but to
Mhm.
have multiple. I talked to the Historical Society about, whether or not they did like history things at the library, and she said that they did, but they haven't for quite a while, so I encouraged her to bring it up at their next meeting, the whole
Yeah.
175th.
Yep.
What about the Seal Colorado Museum too?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
do something there, I
Yeah.
mean, they always do
Yeah.
fun, cool stuff there.
Yep.
You're gonna advertise for all these committees?
Yeah.
That was kind of my other point is, I think probably the Historical Society will be easy to get a membership member from. The school, I'm not so sure. So I would, rather than make it a hard school member, I'd say, or,
Or,
yeah,
Yep.
I just, so it's restricted right now, so
Yep.
I just would leave that a little more open.
yeah.
Other than that, it
Could you
looks
think
good.
of another group that you would want it from? So if you did like a school or, instead of just another person in public, I'm just trying to think of who else would want to be involved in trying to think here.
Sure, the library would participate in it, around the books.
Yeah. Do you think we could do something from the line?
You mean
What
like-
about the fire department?
Yeah.
We'll wash down the road every day.
You have a fun old truck.
Yeah, just bring a fire truck
Just-
on the town, around town and
Put
turn
some
the
balloons
lights
up.
on and you'd be, yeah, it'd be great. Yeah,
Right?
it is, still. What if you said like just trying to think, how would you word it, like a Tremont committee member or something?
Member
I
of
just,
an existing
any-
committee.
of any existing committee,
Committee or board or
Yeah.
group or?
We could do that.
just trying to think of how you could,
Mhm.
I'd like to see different groups get involved, like that,
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
from fire department, library, whoever, they,
Yeah, we could just list them.
Yeah,
Because it
okay.
would be whoever applies, and if somebody
Yeah.
from that group is applied, it would go next in
Yep.
line.
Yeah.
after the-
No. sounds good.
It was great on Main Street.
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's on a designate name.
It's a 200 section there on, Shore.
All right, do you want us to say with amendments or
As amended.
as amended? Okay.
I make a motion to establish the Tremont 175th Committee to adopt and sign the Tremont 175th Committee bylaws as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to establish the Tremont 175th Committee and to adopt and sign the Tremont 175th Committee bylaws as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Next, we have heat pumps for the town office. We mentioned this to Chris a while ago. This was one of the things that, this
Yes.
isn't the first time it's been in front of us or thought about it,
So-
talked about it.
Today, when I went out, there was a customer in the front who said, when I came up to the door, is it the same temperature out back there as it is out front here? Now it's a little cooler out
Yeah.
back there. It's definitely, it seems like beginning of May. It's shot right up to the 74 and
Yeah.
in there. So with these, there's a ton of available funding for these type of projects.
Mhm.
Town meeting established, a town office reserve, in mind was this project and a flooring replacement, which is next on the agenda, and to just establish a reserve in general. But I anticipate that we should be able to get a good portion, hopefully, of any of this, covered by a grant. The state just introduced or decided on a new, funding for municipalities and schools for, energy efficiency, specifically including heat pumps. The school round opened, beginning of July? June 13th. And then the municipal round is opening in August. it looks like it's pretty much first come, first served who applies for funding. So with that in mind, I'd like to hopefully get some bids back to make an application in August, for that grant fund from the state. It's written as, for the second floor only this time, as you know, this room stays pretty cool. So I don't, think it's necessarily to have one down here. And we'd also, the main benefit would be the cooling. It's not necessarily a money-saving benefit since we're on the solar panels. It's not like we need to save on our energy bill, but
Well, it will save on heat
it will.
in the
Yeah.
winter
Yes.
too, so it might be worth considering putting a unit down here for the heat, because not like this room hasn't been challenging to keep warm on occasion.
Or at
Seem
least
to-
having it prepped in case you wanted to add one down here,
Mm.
down the road.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, if we didn't want to do it
Yeah.
now.
but I mean, how many times have we been in here when
Yeah,
it's
well,
freezing?
Yeah, I
If you
know.
had a heat, if you had a heat pump, you could turn it on.
Yeah, no, I know.
The radiant takes a
Yeah.
while.
Yes, the radiant does
Yeah.
take a while.
And the solar is footing the bill, so to speak, so,
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Mhm.
I think I'd agree, I think I'd put the, I think I would do
One bedroom.
downstairs too, just
Yeah.
because, I
Okay.
mean,
I mean,
like
it's
when
big
that,
open space,
we
you put
did,
one
we had a
unit.
lot of issues with the heat, and it's an option, it's right there, especially if the funding, grant money could be paying for a good portion.
I've got my shop in that building I put up, I've got a heat pump in the lower floor, and it's probably close to this volume.
Yeah.
Heats it great.
Okay.
And again, if you need it to warm up on a meeting where things aren't going, you turn it up and it warms it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's pretty quick.
We can make that change.
Yeah, that's the only thing I see with it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of companies local now to do it,
Yeah.
so.
I'll make a motion to request the town manager to amend the town office heat pump bid specifications to include prices for downstairs also. Is that the only amendment?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to request the town manager to amend the town office heat pump bid specs to include, the downstairs as well as the upstairs. Is there any discussion?
And authorize the bid.
Yeah, I was gonna
Solicit.
say, we're gonna have to make a separate motion now, aren't we? Yep, we'll have to do
Okay.
the top, okay. Yes,
Okay.
Keith.
When we signed on with the solar array, did they have a certain cap that they would let you get on it? It seems funny they would just let you have, I don't know,
The way the contract works on that, Keith, is we agree to buy the power that's generated by the array. So we're buying whatever it puts out. It's scaled to meet what the needs of the town and the school buildings and all that were. I think it's running a little over, isn't it?
Yeah, if the, if we use too much, then it
Yeah,
bumps
but
off.
I don't know. I know Chris at one point, I don't know if he was
We're not
thinking,
using all the power that's generated.
Yeah. so we've got excess power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So basically it's free heat.
because we
We're
don't
already
receive
buying it.
We don't
Yeah.
receive compensation, that's one thing that I have
Yeah.
learned through this process, I thought we would, but you don't.
Yeah.
The
Right.
meter only turns one way. It doesn't, It
Best we
doesn't-
can do is break even.
yeah,
Right.
like we
So-
just signed one, I think it was $30, $20-some dollars, on our warrant tonight, and, as you know, it probably would be probably 300 or something like that for,
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it seems like it's kind of a no-brainer.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor? Okay, next we need a motion for him to,
Oh, look, I skipped right over that.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to solicit bids as
And then
amended for the town office heat pumps.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to solicit bids as amended for the town office heat pumps. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, next we have the flooring, town office floor replacement bid specs.
So the, floor on the upper level for a little over a year now, well, probably before I was here, has had, the tiles, it's the same tiles that are down here, popping up, in several areas, becoming loose. There's some significant cracking, on them in other areas. And there's also certain sections that are just in general poor condition, visibly from use, many years of use on them. So we are looking to, have that replaced with new flooring. We'd like to try and bid out either a plank or a roll type instead of these tiles to try and avoid that happening again in the future. There could be, in the bid specifications, I've left out the, 2 bathrooms and the 3 closets, as they have little wear compared to the rest of it. Bathrooms would just be, more expensive, plumbers removing fixtures and putting them back in. I don't think it's all that necessary. And the closets don't have hardly any, significant traffic to them. There will be, if it does in fact get removed, which I think is what they would recommend, there's the possibility that the subfloor was not fastened down correctly. There's a section near the front door where the tiles have come up, that you can see that there are no nails or screws in the floorboard. Which could be why it's shifting, and cracking. So,
So tile's not an option.
no, tiles not. So we'd find that out. My thought is to, if any of you are wondering, is to, the operations of the town office, while that was going on. Katie and I have discussed the option of having, a moving company come move everything out of the town office, into like a unit down here in the parking lot, and moving one of the, clerk stations down here and operating from down here during the week or so that that's going on, so we could remain open. During that time, we, kind of discussed doing it, trying to have it done like over a weekend or a long weekend, but then, if there's delays or cost of labor because it's on the weekend, we figured we'd just move everybody down here, while it's being done. And we try to have it done at time of year that's not crazy.
Yeah, because the worst thing's gonna be in the desk area, in the offices and out, all those filing cabinets are on. I just was thinking of that, they all would have to be
Yeah.
moved.
Yes.
So that's gonna be a pain. Yep. So there's really no way to use that. I would come downstairs and then when that's done,
Yeah.
are they gonna do down here as well?
I don't
No.
think it's necessary.
Okay.
Down here.
No.
It's fairly good for these things.
You might be able to talk him into doing half of it and moving the file cabinets and stuff instead in and out the doors and all that.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot less moving.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
If it's, if we can,
Yeah.
that's what we'll do.
However they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they did, the plank flooring, they might be able to go right over the other one anyway.
I know, that's why I was gonna, talk
Yeah.
about with
Yeah.
the contract. Depends how much of the issue with the employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subfloor, at least in the entry, you'd wanna get, or maybe just out where everybody comes in and
Yeah.
just from the counter out. If you peel that up and,
Because I was thinking labor wise, obviously, depends how easily they scrape up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Could be easy to build.
Some of them can't use like
Yeah.
With a fingernail practically upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you get the other 98% of them that don't.
Yes.
Yep. Looks good to me.
Yeah, me too.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to solicit bids as specified for the town office flooring replacement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to solicit bids as specified for the town office flooring replacement. Is there any discussion? Keith?
Just, when this building had metal floor trusses, and that's what it is, so it wasn't mechanically attached, it was chemically glued down.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's the problem, but, and it was so they didn't structurally damage the rating of the floor trusses, so it's
Mhm.
not. And the biggest issue with the floor is that it wasn't waxed on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
know, it's got one of the flooring companies to keep water from penetrating through, so you mostly damage and see when people coming in with salt and water.
yeah,
I don't think it's as bad as you think, it just needs to be re-mechanically fast.
yeah, no, that's good to know.
But those trusses bend,
Yep.
and move, so they need to have flexibility.
They're aluminum trusses?
They're metal, steel
Yeah,
trusses.
yeah. Hmm.
They're metal,
Hmm.
they're like a bow truss.
Hmm.
That's what it's fast.
Yeah,
It's not wood, you can't just screw.
yeah.
Okay.
Right, all those in favor? All right, on to the next thing. We have Bobcat attachments. I know we've talked about this, but it hasn't been an option for a little while. Snow blower and an angle broom.
Yes, so back when you purchased the Bobcat in January, we talked about the additional attachments that would be available. And we, in the budget process, had a roughly 12,000 in mind. We added to the equipment reserve, so there's roughly 22 in the equipment reserve. The Public Works is pretty interested in and excited about the possibility of the room in
Mhm.
particular, for sweeping the town lots and sidewalks.
You still planning on hiring the roads?
The roads, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
I think that broom will be used a ton. I think it will. I think that's a
Yep.
big feature for that.
Yeah, I'm good with all that.
And did they tell you wait time, anything else?
He did not, but it didn't sound like it was as bad as
Yeah.
prior for the attachments. Usually they give me a warning.
Yeah, no, I know. 9 months, you'll have a, you'll have a broom in the middle of winter.
Snow blower's gonna come in August
Yeah.
next year.
Is that the same snow blower that Southwest has?
I believe so.
Because
yes.
did they have problem with theirs at the beginning?
They have a problem with the, blades, I know Scott mentions, the
Okay.
blades don't last very long on it. But I was gonna talk to Mike,
Okay.
and see what the current situation is.
And they both have their own independent motors, both units, okay.
That's a hydraulic motor.
Oh,
So-
okay, so it does run off the
Yeah, it
hydraulics.
runs off
Okay,
the
that's what I was
hydraulics.
wondering.
It's just two, yeah, I read
Okay,
that.
I was reading that and I was
Yeah.
like, that doesn't sound quite right, that's
Yeah.
why I was.
It's, it should be just a hydraulic,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
just a quick disconnect. So-
Okay, well, that makes more sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, looks good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I make a motion to authorize the purchase of the Bobcat sweeper and snow blower attachments from Jordan Equipment for the sum of $12,904.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the purchase of the Bobcat sweeper and snow blower attachments from Jordan Equipment for the sum of $12,904. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, Next, we have the Boston Post cane. And Katie, you have identified Tremont's oldest resident.
I guess so.
Yeah?
Yep, so, placed an ad in the newspaper, it ran for 2 times, and contacted the Historical Society, they gave me a list of who they thought. I also reviewed, the voter registration list to, verify if they were even an active voter and how long they've been voting for. So, the only nomination that we came up with, or that was, brought to our attention was for Thelma Nelson, and I had already verified that she was one of the oldest person in Tremont prior to this nomination as well, so there we have it.
How old is she? She'd be,
96.
yeah, 90.
Yeah,
97.
1925.
Yeah, she'd be 97 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Says she became a resident in 1950.
Yep. Hmm.
So her daughter, Andrea, is, who came into town office to fill out the nomination paper. I explained the process to her, and she did inform me that she probably would not be able to attend a meeting, and we would probably have to present it to her.
Go there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that
Yep.
We did, I did that for someone when I was chair,
Yeah.
I remember doing
Yep.
that.
I'll make a motion to find that Thelma Nelson is the oldest Tremont resident and to award her the Boston Post cane.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to find that Thelma Nelson is the oldest Tremont resident and to award her the Boston Post cane. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have election of MMA Vice President and Executive Committee. Everybody's has the
Copy
sheet.
of the ballot, it's just a vote for one and vote for 3, so no choice to make.
Yeah.
One candidate and 3, yeah.
they made the decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I make a motion to vote for Diane Hines for MMA Vice President, and Ivan McPike, Philip Crowell, and Anthony Ward for MMA Executive Committee.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to vote for Diane Hines for MMA Vice President and for Ivan McPike, Philip Crowell, and Anthony Ward for the MMA Executive Committee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next is the election of MMA Legal Policy Committee.
So you have, this one you do have, 4 candidates, and you need to choose 2 to vote for. As mentioned in my packet, there are 3 of them from League of Towns, Acadian League of Towns, municipalities, select board member from the town of Lemoyne, counselor from the town of Bar Harbor, select board member from the town of Southwest Harbor, and the manager from the town of Stone. Tracy's on that.
Anyone?
I don't really, I've met 1 or 2 of them, but I don't know much about them. Yeah,
I
they-
know,
Only matter
only
to
met
me.
one.
How many do we have to vote for, 2?
I make a motion to vote for Kathleen Rybars and Aaron Koff to the MMA Legislative Policy Committee.
Second.
Their resumes look good.
It's been moved and seconded to vote for Kathleen Rybars and Aaron Koff to the MMA Legislative Policy Committee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Is that the end of our, of the, just the regular business? Yeah, I think it is. All right, Jesse, town manager's report.
Major emphasis in, since our last meeting, has been working on the hiring process for the new Public Works, employee, Mike Falkingham. He began, Monday the 11th, and is working out quite well. I also spent a lot of time on the snowplow truck bid, process, talking with potential bidders and facilitating inspections of truck one. Those bids are due in Thursday of this week. Seems like a fair number of bids will be received, hopefully. And committing FY23 taxes on Monday the 11th. Minor projects, meeting follow-up from our last meeting, updating committee appointments and boards and committee, letting the boards and committees know of their new appointees. Discussion and follow-up regarding the fire truck funds. I attended the League of Towns meeting in Des Moines. Had a Zoom meeting with North Star, the comp plan consultant. Attended the Harbor Committee meeting. Had a conversation with Misha Maitar from Maine Coast Heritage Trust regarding the Fishway project that's beginning. Worked on bid specs for the heat pumps and flooring. Participated in a radio interview about local roads. Worked on committee bylaw drafts. Had a Zoom meeting with the comp plan chair, Brett Witham. Submitted the monthly general assistance report. Had a meeting at the Historical Society, meeting on Rummel Road with Public Works, Howdy, and some residents out there. Meeting prep and financial reports, general assistance meetings, and opened the Dix Point Road bids. Office staff, the clerk was busy with VMV reports, assisting with tax commitment, working on the commitment book, and preparing oaths for the committees and appointees for this year. The bookkeeper's been busy with year-end work and preparing for the FY22 audit. Public Works, as I said, Mike started there on Monday the 11th. They were busy ditching South Cape Road, checking roads, mowing the town office and the trail. They removed an old cross pipe across Cape Road, trimmed the library, Hillrest Cemetery, Sealthorpe Orphan Road, mowed Hillrest and Headed Harbor, changed battery on the radar sign, trash removal, Back Beach, Hillrest and Seal Cove, cut shoulders on Crockett Point, and did some small ditching there, cleaned up brush piles out here at the dump area. Started stripping paint off the truck body on truck 2 for repainting. Prepared the entrance to Bar Road, attended the meeting on Rummel Road, did some ditching on Ann's Point, repaired a cross pipe on Clark Point, and repaired the town office lower driveway. Cleaned and greased the case and cleaned truck 9. The harbor master was busy getting ready for the boat races, trimmed the wharf area, researched a new air compressor for Public Works, took the assessor out to Gott's Island, worked with a long-term transient float that arrived, Dockwa Work, which is the system that manages the transient floats, documented boat checking, moved traps off the dock, cleaned up trash and leaf blowing, Check Seal Cove, he was around all day for the lobster boat races, there's minimal cleanup from that, he said. Prepared the harbor committee packet, updated the wait list and transient float fees, checked out a sailboat that was left overnight, and he attended the harbor committee meeting and delivered, a plaque to Mel Atherton, for his service to the committee. Unloaded new picnic tables and hauled off the old ones at the upper parking, in the wharf area. Adjusted the no-wait buoy, ordered permit stickers for the wharf permits, assisted the sailboat in the harbor, rented a slip to Park Marine, replaced 3 deck boards on the dock, and, hoist number 2 on Friday. The main beam broke off, the backing plate, broke completely off and is hanging off sideways. And that was welded and repaired back together. Over the next few weeks, I'll be attending the National Working Waterfront Conference, beginning tomorrow in Boston, attending the League of Towns meeting, and I have a meeting coming up with MMA Risk Management regarding, our safety program.
On that radar sign, Jesse, would it be possible to put up what the posted speed limit is too? Do we have any extra signs for that?
Yep, I can check
Because
them.
I've had a few people see the sign and not really know if they're speeding or not.
Yep.
It just tells you the speed.
I know he usually places it near speed limit
Yeah.
sign, but I don't know.
It's not,
You know, it says
hasn't
I'm
been for a
going too
while.
fast.
What's that?
It says too fast.
Yeah.
You're not even registering, huh? There's no number.
No, I have heard from people though that everyone hits the brake, like a lot of
Yeah.
people hit the
Yeah.
brakes there, and that's,
Good.
that does slow things down. I think
Yeah.
that was a stretch that
Yeah, that
people
was,
always fly, they might
Yeah.
be late to the ferry or whatever,
yeah.
and they might slow down.
They
a
make
little
up
bit,
for
so-
it on Shore Road.
Yeah, but if it does, if it helps at all, then
Yeah.
that's a,
No, I think it's a really good thing. It's just,
yeah,
I've
Yeah.
had a couple people say, so what is this speed limit?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. No, and I think
Good
that's like
question, right?
that's a really good spot for
It's
it, like,
25 right there, right?
it's 25 actually,
Yeah.
but, I mean,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you
it's-
get
no one
people
knows it's
doing
25.
30, 35, you're lucky.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, but
usually
just
go
before it is a speed limit sign.
Yep.
Isn't it one speed limit going up and a different one coming down?
Well, between here and Flatiron Road is 35.
Yeah, it changes.
But it doesn't tell you that coming
Okay.
up, coming,
Yeah, okay.
which it seems kind of foolish too.
That was
You
one
know,
thing I was
300
gonna-
yards, you can go 35.
Now it's different.
And the other thing I thought of was Mel, I know the harbor committee did something,
Mhm.
can we write something from the select board thanking him for?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
I
Oh, you
think
did?
it was
Okay.
both.
I signed it as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to be sure that we did.
Double check.
All right, thank you, Jesse, for that. Suggestions for the next meeting? Date of the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, August 1st, 2022 at 5 p.m. at the town office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, August 1st, 2022, 5 p.m. at the town office. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have an executive session titled 80K Action.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session as permitted by 1 MRSA 405.6H for consultant with a code enforcement officer regarding prosecution of an enforcement matter.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to go into an executive session titled 80K Action, as read by Mackenzie. Is there any discussion?
I bought this property on 2 sides now, and I feel I should recuse myself, and I don't know if I should even vote on the motion or if I should be part of the discussion. But I'm not gonna vote anyway,
Okay.
so I don't know if you'd rather have me just walk out the door now or,
See ya.
well, whatever. I mean, I'm fine, but I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to vote on it for sure.
Okay.
Probably not participate in the discussion either.
All right, what do you wanna do, Jess? I'm just trying to think of how we would probably he would not be part of the executive session. Would that be the?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that seems the cleanest, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go home. I vote to adjourn whenever you do.
Yeah. All right, it's been moved and seconded, and Kevin is recusing himself. He will not be part of the executive session. Everybody else, all those in favor? Okay.
One way to get out of the meeting earlier.
Yeah, there you go.
He just wants to go home.
Right?
Yeah,
Didn't know if that would work.
yeah.
Have a good evening.
Yes, you too. All right, we're coming out of executive session at 6:45. Next, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?